Death is something every human being must face. But for the Enuani, the Igbo people of the Western Niger, death is not the end. It is seen as a passage to the afterlife, a pathway to the land of the spirits and ancestors known as Animo or Aniamo. Today, I want to share with you the fascinating way the Enuani people handle death and funerals. This is a story of family, tradition, respect, and a strong belief that how you bury the dead can shape the future of the living. Sit back. Let's look closely at what happens in Enuani communities when someone passes on. In Enuani custom, remember, these are Igbo communities of Western Niger. When someone dies, it's not just anyone who takes charge. The responsibility falls first on the first son and the first daughter of the family. But even more important are the Umuada and Igbo, the first daughters and first sons of the family. Even when they are married to distant communities, they turn out en masse and return for the funeral rites of their loved ones. Their presence and authority are so powerful that no funeral can move forward without them. I mean the Umuada. From the very beginning, death is not handled by outsiders. It is family, especially children and daughters, who lead the way. Now, there are different kinds of deaths. Not all deaths are treated the same way among the Enuani people of Western Niger, and it is so in most parts of Igbo land. While some deaths are seen as normal and natural, others are considered shameful and dangerous. For example, if someone commits suicide or dies through a curse, they are not buried like everyone else. Such people are taken to the evil forest. Nobody cries for them because tears might anger the gods. Instead, people rub themselves with white chalk across their eyes or stick a little broomstick in their head. That way, even if they cry, the gods know it is not for the dead. Sometimes, even the house and community of the deceased must go through cleansing before life can continue. For the Enuani Igbos of the Western Niger, burial is not just a formality, it is deeply spiritual. Some people think it is just a show-off. It is not. Funeral rites can affect the way the living continues their life and the way the dead continues in the afterlife. They believe death moves a person from this world into the world of the ancestors. Once there, the dead are no longer weak. They become powerful, able to bless or to punish even the living. This is a core Igbo belief. That is why every family, whether rich or poor, spends a lot to give their loved ones a proper burial. Some people will say a befitting burial. It is not only about respect, it is also about peace. A person who is not properly buried may trouble the living. Yes, you heard right. A person who is not properly buried may go ahead to trouble the living. To understand this better, let's look at a community in Enuani known as Ubuluku, one of the Enuani communities of Western Niger and one of the most ancient of the Enuani communities. The funeral process in Ubuluku is very detailed and it shows clearly how much value they place on tradition. The first stage has to do with announcing the death. When an adult dies in Ubuluku, the first thing is not to cry out or shout. The death is quietly reported to the oldest member of the family, who reports to the Igbo that their son or daughter is sick, as the case may be. If it is the case of the oldest man in the village that passes on, if the Okpala of an Igbo passes on, the staff of office of this Okpala, which is usually known as Ofo, is removed from his home and placed in the home of another person known as Ono. If it is in the case of the Adebo that becomes deceased, the Adebo, her own staff is taken to the Okpala's house. That is the most senior person in the lineage. After this sacred duty is done, then can death be announced. And there's something very striking. If anyone cries before these steps are taken, the family is fined. For instance, you convene a family meeting to inform them that your father is sick, and then you make the mistake of saying that your father is dead. You may attract a fine because you are not the one to pronounce him dead. The Ubuluku people of Enuani are very proud and private. Even in death, they don't allow outsiders to see them unprepared. How do they do this? Once the official announcement is made, the immediate family members can now mourn openly, but still the crying is measured because the wider family has not even yet been told. When the larger family, usually called Ebo, finally gathers, they are welcomed in a special way. They are offered palm wine, tobacco, and kola nuts. The eldest elder then pours the libation, calling on the ancestors before they all share the drink and kola nut. Interestingly, at this point, the family does not say their loved one is dead. Instead, they say the person is very sick. A group called Ogebo is then asked to check on the sick person. Their job is to check whether the children of the deceased cared for their parents properly while they were still alive. If the children failed in their duties, they could be fined. If all is well, the Ogebo performs what is called a mock healing. They try to revive the dead by putting herbs and medicine into their nostrils and mouths. This is repeated 4 times. And on the 4th attempt, they can announce the Creator has taken Okenye Weri, and then only then do the relatives burst into full wailing, declaring their loved one is truly gone. This marks the official beginning of mourning. At this point, the family prepares for the actual funeral. The eldest son, known as the Okpala, is asked to bring a she-goat and a cock. This part of the funeral rite is called Igwozu, getting the body ready for funeral. Now, it must be stated that it is not every elder that attends this gathering. From the moment the person is declared dead, the person next in line in terms of seniority to the deceased now takes charge. So, anyone who is older than the deceased goes home and does not take part in any way at the funeral, because a man or woman does not bury his or her child, so it is said. Now, when the first son brings this goat, now the elders don't just accept the goats or cock. They carefully examine them. If they are not satisfied, they can demand that the Okpala adds money to make up for the goat. This is called Emapuano. And here, the elders have the right to ask for whatever they choose, because the person has defaulted by bringing goods that is not sizable enough or not of age. If the livestock presented are accepted, the elders appoint the person who will lead the slaughter. The goat and the cock are then killed, and their blood is sprinkled on the deceased person's ikenga, the wooden shrine that represents the person's personal power and achievements. Now, this ikenga will be buried with the person. As the blood is sprinkled, the elders speak to the dead, saying, "Look at what your children have brought for you. May you bless them, protect them, and never harm them." This moment is both sacred and symbolic. It connects the children to their parents in death, ensuring blessings continue from the world of the ancestors. This is purely the belief. So far, we have seen how the Enuani Igbo of Western Niger treat their dead with deep seriousness. From the silence of the first announcement, to the gathering of relatives, to the mock healing, and finally, the sacrifice that prepares the dead for burial. But we are not done yet. There are still more stages ahead. In our next episode, we will continue from stage 5 and uncover the remaining steps that complete the funeral rites in Western Igbo land. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next part of this series.
Enuani.